Okay, how do we want to start this out? How would I describe day 3? Kicker. Well guys, if you want to beat the Muskies, you've got to be one with the Muskies.
Tony calls.
See, I'm back on my... See, I'm back on my bull. Hey, see, I'm back on my bull. Came a long way from school.
Unbelievable. Oh yeah. Unreal. That's unreal.
Walk them down with that teacher I've been kicking cool and got paper like Missy. I'm Zion, yo, Red. She said that she love how my bitch be dressing. How that Audemars go with that neck. My features are good.
All right guys, good morning. I have to apologize. It is the morning of Tuesday here up on Eagle Lake of my solo week. And admittedly, I haven't done a ton of filming up to this point. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind of a trip. I got up here on Saturday in the middle of a really hard cold front and the fish were shut down. I spent all day Sunday fishing through bluebird conditions, super windy conditions, and a cold front, and the fish were shut down. And then yesterday morning, it was pouring rain in the morning, no lightning, no storms, none of that, just really good overcast conditions. And we absolutely crushed fish, unfortunately, because it was raining so bad. None of the catches are on camera. I got most of the fish on the big cams after I caught them. I shouldn't say none of the catches are on camera. There's a few that were on the cameras towards the end of the day in particular. So I'm hopeful today will be better. The other issue I'm running into is I've been having a ton of electronics issues with this boat, and I think I've narrowed it down to 2 main causes. First, my graphs are disconnecting constantly. I have one graph, my main graph, that all my deucers are connected to that is off the cranking battery. The rest of the graphs are off a house battery with an Ethernet switch, so they're all networked together. And I think I've narrowed it down to a bad Ethernet switch because the 3 graphs that are on the house battery will the screens will just change displays and go back to the menu, and I have to constantly put them back on side imaging in my map screen. So I think it's a bad Ethernet switch. I took that one out of my old boat. I bought that used for my old boat, so my guess is that it's just old and worn out. So I'm gonna have Tor bring one of those. And then I think my cranking battery is bad. Last fall I forgot to put the plug in the boat, and I was out there fishing when I noticed that there was a bunch of water in the boat. Well, ever since that day, I ran that battery, the cranking battery dead, running my bilge, and it just has never been the same. So I think I have a bad cranking battery too, because basically what'll happen is when I turn the key on, start the engine, after, you know, several hours out on the water, my graphs will cut out for a second. So I'm gonna have her bring me a new cranking battery. All the other issue that I'm having is my trolling motor keeps disconnecting from my graphs, and I think I've narrowed that down to just a really bad design where the Ethernet cord comes out of the head of the unit. There's very little wire there, and where you connect the Ethernet cord and screw it together, it's constantly turning and flexing, and I think the cable's broke. So I'm gonna put a little dielectric grease on that connection point where it looks like the wire's broke, and then hopefully that'll allow the signal to transfer at least for the rest of the trip, and then I'll have to send it in for warranty repair. But the tech is great until it isn't, so I'm gonna have to fight through these issues the rest of the week here while I'm solo, but at least hopefully help will be on the way. But I'm hopeful that today we have good overcast conditions and it's not super windy, and the fish were bitey yesterday, so I'm hoping they'll still be bitey today, and hopefully it'll stay dry enough that I can run some cameras. So anyway, that's enough yapping. We're gonna get this boat set up and get to fishing hopefully. Morning, how are you?
Good.
Welcome to my home away from home.
Yeah.
So, where do you want to start?
Let's look at that trolling motor first.
Okay, let me get this out of the way here. If you guys watched the first video from this series, I mentioned in there that when you go the same time every single year on these trips, the folks within camp that go the same time as you become more like family than friends. And Pine Beach is an isolated bush camp in the Canadian wilderness. And to me, I think it's paradise, but what comes along with that isolation is it's not easy to just quickly
get to the modern amenities of town. And because of that situation, folks around camp are really willing to kind of help one another out when you run into issues, whether it's boat, electronics, vehicle, whatever the case may be. And
So see where it pulled out of there?
Yep.
I think there's a broke wire right here.
Okay.
But I don't even know what we can do for it, honestly.
Put some dialect grease in there. We'll zip tie it tight and see what happens. Worth a try.
Yeah, we can try it for sure.
my buddy Kevin has become a really good friend over the years. He actually really helped me kind of think through how I wanted to rig my boat originally to have it be very efficient. And he was gracious enough to swing down on the dock this next morning and kind of help me try and diagnose and put bandages on some of the issues I was having as I was hoping to just limp through the week.
Like I said, they should have ran this cord down,
Had
so
the
you
connector down low.
connect it right here. Yeah, because this one's fine because there's nothing to torque, but this bumps on this wire every time that head turns.
You know what, Kyle? You need to get on Minn Kota's Pro Staff and let them give you free motors.
Well, I just about it on camera, so.
Did ya?
yeah. So
Let them
they're gonna
give
hear
you
from
the
me.
new models coming up.
So Kevin may disagree with this, but in my opinion, he spent way too much of his time on his own vacation trying to help me diagnose these issues, and I'm forever thankful for those efforts.
Trolling motor connected.
Okay.
So let me do this. Okay, my controls are up so I can see them. So
now if you wiggle that, it'll go disconnected?
yeah, probably, but let's maybe throw grease on it and we'll move it until we get it connected again.
Yep.
And I'll probably have to shut it off and turn it back on because that seems to be what helps.
Okay. And then whatever broken wire is broken, hopefully we can bridge it.
Yeah,
The opening
temporarily
temporarily
anyway.
with that grease.
Okay,
Yeah.
where's that back? Make sure this is still connected. Disconnected.
Disconnected now?
Yep, so now I'm gonna go like this. Shut it off.
But effectively what we were trying to do was kind of band-aid patch a cracked Ethernet cable coming out of the head of my trolling motor. In my opinion, just a little bit of a design flaw there that led to some torquing, and eventually the cable broke over the course of a year and a half of running that trolling motor, and we attempted to band-aid patch that.
So like snug that sucker all the way down and then use your wire snipper to snip off the excess. Get it right on top of that spot.
Got her on there.
And before you snug it all the way, make sure you're still connected.
Should be. Yep, we're good.
Yeah, now snug that sucker up. Because that way it'll keep them wires straight and connected. Now go check if you're still connected, hopefully.
Trolling motor connected.
Okay, good. All right, now put a zip tie around
This.
the whole thing
Yeah.
right there
Okay.
to try to keep that from flexing, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, and make sure you get that connector. Keep that thing straight and zip tie that really snug.
It's still going.
Good, okay.
You're a genius. Wow, I gotta test it all day first.
If you do, you might need to give me a little honey spot for Kelly to catch.
Yeah, I will. I'll take you guys out on a little guided trip.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
We'd be up for that. So Kelly.
Kevin also took some time to help me try and diagnose some of the issues with my cranking battery to hopefully fix my voltage drop issue so I could limp through the week until my help arrived the following weekend when Levi and Victoria show up to camp.
I think this cranking battery's bad from when I ran it all the way down,
Okay.
but we'll see.
Today.
12.5, but it's fully charged.
That's bad.
That is bad.
That's bad.
I'm running graphs right now. Would that impact it at all?
Oh, it'll drain it down. Yeah.
But the voltage should be higher.
Yeah, should be high.
Even with the graphs on.
Correct.
It should be at 13.1 or 12.9.
That's
Okay.
too low.
Well,
You need a new battery there.
I told her to pick me one up.
Okay.
I hope that's the issue, so.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Actually-
that is not a good reading for a fully charged 12-volt
Okay,
battery.
that's an easy fix,
Yeah.
right? So,
And sure, I could have, fished spots blind the rest of the week. We used to do that. We'd go up there and we'd rent camp boats and we would blind cast without a trolling motor and do wind drifts, and we had success back in the day. But for me, it was the principle of the situation. I spent a lot of money to rig that boat out. I saved for a lot of years to make that boat happen. And this is like my Super Bowl, right? I'm up there on vacation. I love this body of water. I want to enjoy myself and use the equipment properly that I spent my hard-earned money on, right? And that's not to mention the fact that if I don't figure it out now, not only do I have to deal with this for the next week and a half, but I got to figure it out when I get home. So I had this really intense burning desire to just get this ironed out. And we tried everything. You know, we Band-Aid patched as much as we could early that morning.
You want me to turn this crap on?
Flip that power switch.
yeah.
Yeah. And then,
Now powered on?
yeah, will that one power up?
Yep.
Okay, we're good. I literally spared no expense when I rigged this boat with my electronics.
Yeah.
So it's just gotta be.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's hard for you when you do that and then you have flight piece like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So after we did our little spot repairs and we're messing around on the dock, I was in a pretty big hurry to get out on the water. We had some pretty juicy conditions that morning and I'm like, I gotta go. And because I'm an idiot, instead of staying close to home, I decided to make a long just run down to another section of the lake. And the whole way down there, everything was working fine. I ran the radio a little bit to make sure that the voltage wasn't going to drop too significantly. And shut the radio off about halfway down the drive, got to my location and killed the big motor, started fishing, got about 5 casts in and the grass went black. And I sat there and I was pretty upset. I'm not gonna lie. At this point, I was pretty frustrated with the situation. So I fished through that spot blind. And when I went to start the big motor to go to my next spot, because I had pretty much made the decision, like, you know, we're just gonna blind fish today. I started the big engine and the damn thing barely started. And I thought to myself, I need to go back to camp right now before I'm stranded in the middle of nowhere on this lake with no cell service. So I ran back to camp and it was on that drive back where I realized pretty quickly the inevitable drive into Dryden to try and find a cranking battery was in my very near future. And I tied the boat up at the dock and hopped in the truck and away we went.
Starting route to Railside Sports and Marine.
All right, guys, I am currently hopping in the truck and driving into Dryden to get a new cranking battery and hoping that solves my issues with my electronics. My graphs won't stay connected, so I'm thinking that the main graph that has all the deucers set up, running to it, I'm hoping that the voltage drop in that graph, because that graph is hooked to my cranking battery, because I wanted redundancy and power sources on my graphs. So I am hoping that the voltage drop is disconnecting the Ethernet switch, but I'm gonna buy both an Ethernet switch and a cranking battery, and I'm gonna test just the cranking battery first to see if that fixes my issues, because I think when that main graph loses voltage, it's killing the connection to the Ethernet switch and then forcing all the other graphs to disconnect intermittently, because then they almost immediately connect right away. So I was out fishing this morning, you guys saw the intro, all that stuff, and all of a sudden my graphs all kind of died. As far as connection, I could not get them reconnected, and I just said, screw it, I'm gonna go and buy a new cranking battery, and hopefully that'll fix my issues here. So an hour drive one way, I'm just hoping I can get back, get that battery charged up, and be on the water for the evening window tonight. But yeah, it sucks. Juicy conditions out there right now. And unfortunately, you always seem to have issues at the least opportune times, and that's what I'm going through right now. So anyway, we're gonna go grab this battery and we'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, we are just leaving Dryden right now. We ran to a local marine dealer here, and they had Group 24 batteries in stock. Better battery than the one I had in the boat. They did not have an Ethernet switch, so hopefully this battery solves my issues, and hopefully it was just the voltage drop that was cutting out signal to the Ethernet switch from the main graph and forcing all the others to disconnect. I won't know until I'm on the water, unfortunately, and run it for a little bit here, but we're gonna get back, we're gonna put this in and get it on the charger and make some lunch so that we can top it off here before we head out for the evening session. Fingers crossed it was just the battery, but yeah, we're gonna head back to camp now. It's about an hour drive, so we'll check in with you guys when we get back there, and we're throwing that battery in the boat.
So once I got back to camp, I rushed down to that dock to get that battery installed in that boat and on the charger as fast as I possibly could. And I wanted to make sure I got it on the charger and gave it a couple hours to charge so that it would be topped off and I'm not just gonna drain down a brand new battery. So as I was sitting there eating my lunch, waiting for this battery charge, I could literally feel the seconds getting slower and floor, and the minutes dragging by and the hours dragging by. And don't get me wrong, I love the accommodations at Pine Beach. It's my favorite place in the whole world. But when you're sitting there stuck on shore and you're just killing time waiting for your boat to be ready to go, when you know hungry muskies are out there ready to eat bucktails in the figure eight, that's my definition of personal hell. Now that almost 2/3 of the day had gone by the wayside, I was in a pretty big hurry to get out on the water and get to a spot and hopefully try and bag a fish, just so that we didn't waste an entire day of our vacation and on our trip. And I rushed to that first spot and immediately just started burning blades. No way. Just my luck. Another big pike. And we're just gonna let her go because we caught enough of these. Not so graceful. And she goes back. Because we have bigger fish to fry. So after that nice pike, I moved on to the next spot and started burning blades. Got about 5 casts in and the graphs go black. All right guys, live update from out here on the water. I've fished through 2 spots and I was just starting my 3rd spot when all of a sudden my graphs went completely off and I have no sonar, no side imaging, nothing on any of them except for the main one that the deucers are connected to. So that tells me that my Ethernet switch is probably bad at this point. So the one last thing I haven't checked yet is the fuse and the power connection to the fuse panel. I wiggled that earlier, that seemed fine, but I'm gonna disconnect it, reconnect it. I'm gonna check the fuse and make sure that the fuse isn't defective or something and rule one last item out. Otherwise, we're gonna be running with just mapping the rest of the trip. We're really gonna put ourselves through the paces here before the other 2 arrive and hopefully are able to find me an Ethernet switch and bring it up here so we can enjoy at least the second half of this trip. Anyway, enough yapping. I'm gonna start digging through this damn thing and see if I can, I don't know, find a faulty fuse or something. Anyway, we'll check back in a bit. Oh, I love this so much. I'm having so much fun. I can't even explain it to you guys. You know that? Of course, everything is so nicely organized in terms of all the extra power wires that are running in here because I rigged this boat myself and did an A+ job. But the problem with that is I can't see what's what. So less yakking, more cutting. I hate this. In case you're wondering how I feel about this situation. Fuse panel's off. It appears to be the last fuse here, fuse 3. It looks fine. Not gonna focus. See that? I don't know if that's focusing, but it looks fine. We're gonna replace it anyway, just to see, because I don't want to have to crawl back under there. I always open this damn thing the wrong way. There we go. New fuse. You see that thing? I get older every day and I don't bend like I used to. Okay, new fuse is in. Power connection seems fine. I'm gonna put the fuse panel cover back on.
Do my best not to break it. All right. Moment of truth. Oh God, I look rough. I've done nothing but attempt to musky fish, get zero sleep, not record like anything for this video series, and work on this boat and try and figure this out. It was glitching a little bit before I left for home, but I thought it was just a hiccup. My cranking battery definitely was bad, but that is apparently not the sole culprit here. So, give everything a minute here to think. It appears to be working. Kinda. We have side imaging. See that? There. These are boulders. Hard to see because the boat's on spot lock. What about back here? There's our graph screen. Oh look, there's the screen I wanted. And side imaging and trolling motor controls. Wow, that's how it's supposed to look, in case anybody's wondering. Thank you guys for allowing me to vent for a minute here while I attempt to figure this out. I'll keep you updated on whether the fuse is the issue or if it's the actual Ethernet switch. The fuse looked fine, so we'll see. I hope it's the fuse though. That would save me a ton of effing around. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to fishing. Unbelievable. Holy hell. Unreal. That was unreal. Holy hell. Stay down. Stay down, you big girl. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy cow. Wow, that was insane. Oh, what happened? What just happened? Wow. I honestly don't even know what to say. I literally just got done filming that video montage, but how frustrated I was. Wow. Are we rolling? We are rolling. All right, guys, despite the adversity, we just put a really, really nice fish in the bag. I'm actually gonna bump this fish, so I'm gonna wet this bump board real quick here. And while I'm doing that, I wanna talk about this net right now. This is a prototype net by Net Buddy called the Tiger Musky Buddy, and it is designed for the solo angler in mind. It's got a thinner bag on it than the original, a slightly smaller hoop, and the bag isn't quite as deep. As you can tell, like, it's super easy, it's super lightweight, way lighter than the old Solo Slimer that I had, and it has the integrated Musky Buddy yoke built in right into the yoke of the net, so you can just slide it right in your track system there in the Musky Buddy and keep your catch contained with legitimately the turn of a knob there. So she's locked in, she's good. This is a really nice fish again, probably another mid 40s here. So I'm gonna pull her out here, we're gonna bump her quick, and then show her to you guys, and we're gonna get back to casting. But yeah, I'm super impressed with this net so far. I've been prototyping it all year for Matt. Hopefully I'm allowed to say that at this point, Matt, by the time this video series comes out. So we're gonna pull this girl out of here, get her back. She is super, super fired up. Unbelievable figure 8 strike. I believe she went around twice, maybe 3 times. I have musky blackout right now, but this is why I'm out here. This is exactly why I'm out here and fighting through the issues with the boat, all that stuff. It doesn't matter when you're putting fish in the bag like this. She is super ticked off. This is a giant fish. Look at that thing. I don't think she's as long as I maybe originally thought. Oh, she is. 46. Beautiful. 46-inch musky. Unfreaking believable. Look at that thing. So cool. Hold her for some stills. So cool. One last look here before she kicks on me. Unbelievable. Hopefully that's okay. The sun is not doing me any favors right now. So, no release shot underwater. She took off right away back to her cabbage bed. So, sweet. Despite the challenges, the fish are still chewing those blades. Let me grab them real quick for you. A couple things to cover here real quick while I got you guys. This right here, see if I can show this to you, and hopefully you'll be able to see it good. She was in a patch of this. This is clasping leaf pondweed. That is legitimate cabbage. They don't make it like that anymore back home. This is the good stuff. You only find this up north for the most part, and in the pristine waters of Canada. It's super important, guys, that before you come on trips like this, you're spraying your boat off. You're getting all of the weeds and aquatic hitchhikers and stuff like that off your boat. Pressure wash it, use soap, let it dry for a couple days. Make sure you're keeping these waters up here pristine. Eagle has rusty crayfish in it now, and unfortunately it's ruined a lot of the weed beds. The good news on one hand is that there's less weeds for the muskies to be in, so usually when you find weeds, it almost always holds fish, as we saw yesterday and last year, and even today on that one just now. So cast it up in there, and I had to snap the blades through. Had to really work it through that weed bed. Pulled her off of it. She came into the 8, fired up, and she just couldn't resist this. Once again, there it is. That same Musky Frenzy 8-9. Don't overthink it up here, guys. If you're coming to Eagle, throw a black and nickel bucktail. That's all you got to do. Smaller the better usually. Sometimes they're on big blades. I haven't seen it in a few years. They like these small to medium-sized blades here. Again, Thorn Bros, extra heavy stealth, 10-footer. The reason I was able to convert that fish is how wide I was able to make my 8s. A 46-inch fish needs a lot of room to turn on the bait. And by having a longer rod, you can get that exaggerated width away from the gunnel of the boat. Not wide along the gunnel, away from it. And really extend out and capitalize. So 10-foot extra heavy stealth, PC Fun, Alios 400, Gen 2, burning blades in. No problem with this reel. It's like a winch. It just reels them in, and then I like to reel it at like 3/4 pace so I can burst it if I need to right at the end, like I did on the fish last night. So a little bit about the setup here. We're gonna get back to casting right now. Sweet relief. I can't even describe how good it felt to bag that fish after the day I had just had. And even though the electronics issues weren't fully ironed out and I was fishing a little bit blind here and there, it felt pretty good to hold a muskie of that caliber, and you couldn't have asked for a better figure 8. But unfortunately, the weather was changing. Things were starting to lay down, the skies were getting high, and things weren't trending in our favor. But despite that, we kept burning blades. August, summer peak, a lot of speed, and it gave us one more opportunity. Oh, I missed him. Shook the hooks. Dang it. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today. Just the one fish today. I mean, we did have the second opportunity on that smaller fish that I would have liked to have, put in the boat, considering it was outside of a moon window or anything like that. But, super nice 46-inch fish today. Can't complain about that. Love a good figure 8 like that, and I'm glad she stayed pinned long enough to slide her into the new Tiger Musky Buddy net. Sorry, the mosquitoes are awful right now, but we're gonna buzz back to camp here under the stars by the time we finally hit the road here. But yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be kind of partly cloudy tomorrow, so that should be good. The humidity's picking up with kind of a warming trend, so hopefully that'll keep these fish fired up and whatnot. But it seems like weed is the pattern, so
we're gonna keep chucking blades in the weeds tomorrow until they stop chasing them. So yeah, I'm done yapping. These mosquitoes are eating the hell out of me right now. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next spot. That day was a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. Looking back on it now, I can laugh about the situation, but man, in the moment, I was pretty dang frustrated. There's no doubt about that. And the worst part about it was I ended that day with no real solution to any of my electronics issues other than I had an adequate cranking battery that would at least allow my motor to start so I could make sure I got home safe. But thankfully, as each day passes, tomorrow's a new day and my electronics issues were going to take a turn in my favor.